By the time the sheriff pressed play on the recovered camera, the four hikers had been missing for 3 days. The first sound on the recording wasn't their voices. It was chewing, wet, slow, right against the microphone. Then a torn whisper. That's not an animal. Out past the last houses, where the ridge turns into blank space on the map, locals have a name for whatever lives in those caves. They call them the cave cannibals. It started like any other weekend trip. For friends in their mid-20s, Mark, Jenna, Luis, and Aaron drove out to film an untouched cave for Mark's small YouTube channel. They weren't clueless. Helmets, ropes, spare batteries, GPS, 3 days of food. On the map, the cave was just an unmarked sinkhole. In town, people called it Old Mouth. At the gas station, an old man watched them load gear, then finally walked over. Don't go past the 5th marker, he said. If you see soot on the ceiling, you turn around. Past that point, the cave don't belong to you anymore. Mark laughed, promised they'd be careful. The others forced a smile. They drove to the ridge anyway. Old Mouth looked exactly like it sounded, a jagged crack in gray rock, breathing out air colder than the afternoon. Inside, their voices came back thin and hollow. Jenna hit record. The red light on the camera blinked. Day 1, she said. If we don't come back, tell everyone we died doing something stupid. They laughed and moved deeper. Headlamps cut narrow cones through the dark. Boots scraped on damp stone. They marked their route with reflective tape and chalk arrows. For the first half hour, it was just a cave. Then the smell changed. Under the mud and rock, something sour crept in. Old sweat, old meat. Probably bats, Luis said. Guano or something dead. He didn't sound convinced. They passed the first metal marker stake, with its faded strip of cloth. Then the second, then the third. Before the 5th, Jenna's headlamp picked out bones scattered in a loose ring on the floor. Too big for a rabbit, too small for a deer. Scraped clean, ends cracked open. In the middle of the ring, the stone was burned black. Soot. Nobody joked after that. When they reached the 5th marker, Aaron stopped. This stake was bent, the cloth half-burned. Above it, the ceiling was streaked dark, as if smoke had hung there again and again. Don't go past the 5th marker, she whispered. Mark checked the GPS. We're fine. 10 more minutes, then back. In and out. We'll have a great video. They stepped past the warning. Very soon, the cave began to feel wrong. Bits of old gear were half buried in the mud. A rotted sleeve, a broken strap, a melted buckle. No backpacks, no bodies, just pieces. Long, shallow scratches ran along the walls at shoulder height. Those are fingernails, Luis said quietly. The soot overhead thickened until the ceiling was almost black. Then the tunnel opened into a low chamber. Smoke had glazed the walls to an oily shine. In the center sat a ring of blackened stones, a fire pit. Human bones were piled against the walls. Skulls lay in a neat row, all facing the entrance. Teeth marks ringed the bones. The ends were split for marrow. This is a crime scene, Jenna said, breathing hard. We're leaving. Now. Nobody argued. The first reflective strip they expected to see on the way back was gone. Aaron ran her glove over bare rock where she knew she'd taped it. Nothing. The chalk arrow underneath was smeared into a gray blur, like a wet hand had wiped it away. That was here, she whispered. They walked faster. Their beams shook, throwing wild shadows. A small rock rattled behind them like a kicked pebble. They turned. At the edge of Jenna's light, the camera caught a pale shape pressed flat to the wall, then sliding out of sight around a bend. Too fast and too smooth to be anything they recognized. The air now stank of smoke, grease, and rot. From the dark behind them came a high, thin sound, a child's cry, followed by a shaky little laugh, like someone badly copying it. They hurried until the tunnel suddenly split into 3. In the dust on the floor were overlapping bare footprints, small and large, going every direction. They live down here, Aaron whispered. From the left passage came a sharp clicking whistle. From the right, another answered. Underneath those clicks, voices practiced broken words. Come, help, down, run, Mark said. They chose the middle tunnel and ran. The floor sloped downward as bear saws slapped wet stone behind them, many and close. Luis's lamp swung, then froze on something clinging to the wall like a pale insect. Gray skin, huge eyes, mouth torn at the corners, teeth worn to jagged brown points. The light hit it, and it recoiled with a hiss, twisting away. A narrow crack in the rock beside Luis suddenly spat out pale hands that yanked him inside. His scream ended with a wet crack. Somewhere behind the stone, something began to eat. Mark dragged the others forward, lamps flickering. They stumbled into another low chamber choked with soot, bones jammed into every crevice. Shapes crouched just beyond the circle of the camera's light. When the beam found their faces, they were human and wrong. Hair matted with ash, skin scarred and thin, eyes blown wide from a lifetime underground. One leaned forward, tasting the air, then repeated Aaron's earlier warning in a cracked voice. "Don't go." From the back, another voice copied Luis perfectly. "We're not going anywhere, man." Jenna's lamp died, then Aaron's, leaving only the camera's small LED as pale feet stepped closer and long fingers reached. The camera fell as something grabbed Jenna. In jerking flashes, it caught Mark buried under gray limbs and Aaron's nails scraping bloody lines into the rock. Then the light went out. On the recording, what remained was sound. Breathing, dragging, wet tearing, and a thin chorus practicing new words. "Please no stop, please no stop." They found the camera 3 days later, set neatly on a flat rock just inside the 5th marker, lens aimed toward the entrance. Deep human-sized teeth marks dented the strap. Officially, the hikers were declared lost and taken by animals. An old mouth was sealed with a welded steel grate. Unofficially, people near the ridge say that on quiet nights they hear soft clicking whistles under the rock and faint broken voices repeating the last words on the recording. "Help, please, don't leave." In the morning, sometimes, bare footprints circle the grate, small and large, all of them pointing inward. None of them point out.